Alrighty, friends, welcome back. It is 6-1 day 2, and we are going to combine some things we've learned in the past with the things we learned yesterday. Because our verb today is solving, we're going to be focusing on one-step equations. So it's just kind of like an introduction into that. We're only going to be involving addition and subtraction for today. So you have to just think back when we did solving of equations. When we would have something like x plus 2 equals 7, we would think to get rid of a plus 2, we needed to use the math inverse or opposite, so minus 2. We would keep everything the same by subtracting it from both sides. This would cancel, x would equal 5, and we would be done. That's similar to what we're going to be doing now, but instead of an equal sign, we'll have one of our inequalities from yesterday, and we'll follow up our solving with graphing. So you see here, we're going to be solving and graphing. So if you need to think back to graphing, let's maybe take a run through that. We're going to have our less than or equal to, greater than or equal to options in the end. We're going to keep in mind that these two, because they are not or equal to, will end up with open circles, whereas these two that are or equal to include the number at the end of the arrow, so we're going to have closed circles for those. Then we're going to think about the other direction and say, okay, when we go to these, which are both greater thans, that means the arrow will be going to the right because we're looking for the greater than numbers. And these two, which are less than or equal to, because these are less, you're looking for numbers to the left. So let's take a look at some examples. Here, you can kind of just think about this like we did before. To get rid of this plus 6 and separate it from the x, we'll need to subtract 6 from both sides. We'll end up with x, and then I'm just copying this same symbol. So I have x is less than 5. So that was what we did back in the day, and this is now going to be what we did yesterday. So I'm going to be looking at 5. I'm going to go ahead and put a 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where my arrow is starting. Less than is my symbol, so it's not or equal to, so I'm thinking open circle at 5. And then because x is smaller than or less than 5, I'll be going to the left. So I'm kind of just thinking about my arrow so that when I get down here and I go ahead to write it in, I can go the right direction. Alrighty, how about the neighbor? This one I'm going to again draw this in so I keep things in balance. To get rid of my subtract 5 or minus 5, I'll need to add 5, and to keep everything in balance, I do that to both sides. Negative 5 and positive 5 cancel, leaving me with just the x. I do not switch the symbol, and then negative 3 plus 5 becomes a 2. So what I'm ultimately going to be graphing is x is greater than 2. You can hear my dryer singing in the background. So again, start thinking greater than 2, not or equal. So I'm going to be thinking open circle, and then greater should be going off to the right. So I think about that. I go down to my number line and I locate 2. And then I'm going to put an open circle because it's greater than 2, not equal to 2. And then I want the numbers that are bigger than that. So that would be these guys over this direction. So I go ahead and draw my arrow in that direction. Easy peasy. Let's keep rolling. In my next one, this looks a little tricky, but good thing you're smart. I'm trying to get the x alone, so I need to move this. So think about the math opposite. To move a negative 2, I will need a positive 2. And I have to do that to the other side to keep it mathematically balanced. These cancel. I still have my x. I still have greater than or equal to as my sign. And then here, if I had a 1 and I added 2, that becomes a 3. So this will be the inequality that I'm graphing like I did yesterday, because I have to solve and graph. So for example, this is the solving, this is the graphing. Here, this was my solving, this was my graphing. Here I just finished solving. Now I'm going to graph. So I'm going to put my 0 here, 1, 2, 3. Then 4, 5, 6 would continue going that direction. If I think about this statement right here, I'm going to be thinking, okay, greater than or equal to. Because it's or equals to, it's going to be included. And then because it's greater than, it's going to be going off to the right. So 3 is the beginning of my arrow, and it can be equal to 3 or greater. So the numbers greater or bigger are going to be over here, 4, 5, 6, and so on. All right, our last example, and then you're going to be a complete expert. Again, I'm trying to get the x alone, so I don't move the x, I move the other thing. So this is what I need to move. So I need to move a positive 4. So I'll do that by taking away or subtracting 4. 4 and a negative 4 cancel. All I have left over here is the x. I keep my symbol the same for today. And then here, go back to what we did way at the beginning of the year. Negative 1 minus 4. Keep in mind that negative 1 minus 4 is like adding a negative. And so it continues to get more negative, and I end up here. So negative 1 minus 4 puts me at negative 5. So I'm going to put my 0 kind of over here, and then I'm going to go to negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to locate the beginning of my arrow. Thinking about my less than or equal to symbol, because it's or equal to, I'm going to be including that negative 5. And then because it's less than, I'm going to go to the left. So I actually didn't make my number line really big enough, but that's okay. So there we go. So what you're going to be doing today is actually on paper. It's not an IXL. There is a worksheet on Schoology. So you're going to do the 6162 worksheet, but because we only focused on the adding and subtracting, you're not doing all of the problems for today. So the ones that you are going to focus on for today are right here. You're going to do 1 through 8, 17 through 19, 21, 24, and then tomorrow you're going to do be able to use the notes to finish the worksheet tomorrow. So when you get the assignment tomorrow, you're going to be able to just finish the ones you weren't able to do today because they'll involve multiplying and dividing. Have a great day, you guys. Keep your notes handy so that if you need to look back at them for examples and help, they are right there for you.